Hello and welcome to #LocalGovMatters. I'm Gwyn, President of Wheeler Reports. Community media is at the center of connecting the people in a community with what is going on in the community. It's your local broadcast TV station and in some areas a local radio station. The community media had a workshop in Madison last week, followed by a day at the Capitol, talking with legislators. So I went to their meeting and talked with some of their members. First up, we're going to hear from the Executive Director of Wisconsin Community Media.
I'm Mary Cardona, Executive Director of Wisconsin Community Media.
So as the Executive Director of the organization, what is your role in helping community media?
Well, I run the statewide organization, Wisconsin Community Media. We have 30 member stations, and we host an annual conference, and that's a 2-day conference. This annual workshop that we're at right now, and every other year we have been doing a legislative day to push our agenda with the legislature. And then we also have a media fest that celebrates community television programming and gives out awards.
So if I were to come to one of your conferences, what sort of workshops would I be hearing? What would I be learning about?
We have an array of workshops because we have workshops about how to manage a station. We have workshops about video production. We have workshops about great programming ideas and script writing, about the law and regulations. It really spans the gamut of what people who are doing community television need to know. And actually, we've been getting a lot of students lately from colleges who are enjoying our workshops because they're really about very basic fundamentals of video production that every producer needs to know. And we also have a big array of vendors who come. So last year we had 10 vendors, and they provide equipment for video production and transmission, and so that's also a draw for our conferences.
Tell me about some of the great things that community media are doing right now that you see at some of your member stations.
Well, I think the important thing is that community media stations offer an ability for residents to see their community's government meetings. They have a chance to see longer form shows with the mayor or city administrator. We have a lot of programs that feature nonprofit organizations or business organizations, for example, chambers of commerce who are working to beautify the downtown. We have a lot of shows that really focus on what is happening in the community and try to focus on the activities that regular people do in their communities to make the community better.
What are some of the challenges that you think community media is really facing right now?
Community media always faces a lot of challenges. It's been a lifelong career of challenges, and right now is no exception. We lost dedicated funding in 2011, and that has meant that since then we have had to rely on the general fund of municipalities to operate. So those cities that are continuing to program community television channels are very dedicated to bringing local information to their residents, and so I really tip my hat to them. We are struggling right now to get cable companies to air our programs in HD. All of our stations air programs in HD, virtually all, but Charter, for one, refuses to provide our programming in HD on their lineup, and that really decreases the audiences for access television because people don't want to watch blurry images. When you watch a city council meeting and there's a PowerPoint and you can't read it, it discourages people from watching. So we're really concerned about visibility. We would like to be on the electronic program guide. Right now, only 8 of our communities are on the electronic program guide. And that's what people routinely use to select a show to watch and record a show for later. And not being on that guide kind of puts us back in the 1970s. I mean, because people don't do appointment television anymore. You know, they like to watch TV when they want to watch TV. And so we see those two things are extremely critical right now for helping community television survive on cable television systems, which we think is very important. I know that we can have video on demand online and we can stream our channels online, but we also think that it's important to continue to have local programming on cable television.
So the workshop here today, and you're also going over to the Capitol to do legislative visits. What's going to be your focus today when you're in the Capitol?
Well, we want to talk to legislators about our bill that we're developing, and that bill would require cable operators to provide PEG access channels in HD. It would require cable operators to put us on the electronic program guide. It would require cable operators to put us on a tier where 100% of subscribers can view us. Right now, the law says only 50% of the subscribers need to be able to view us. We also want them to take responsibility for transmission equipment and lines going to their head end, because they're a sole source provider, and so municipalities can't shop around for the best price. So we think since they can name the price, we should not have to pay that price. They're kind of just over a barrel with them. And then finally, we just are looking for better enforcement provisions so that if they're dragging their feet on constructing a line, or if they're dragging their feet on providing relief for reception problems on these channels, that we have some way to kind of urge them on, some kind of a system of penalties if they're not responsive. So that's what we're going for today.
When we come back, we're going to hear from more members of community media.
The Wisconsin Counties Association represents Wisconsin's 72 counties at both the state and federal level. Learn more about how counties impact your community at wicounties.org.
Welcome back to #LocalGovMatters. I'm Gwyn Gunther of the Wheeler Report, and today we're hearing from individuals who were at the Community Media Fall Workshop held in Madison on September 25th. Now let's talk to some local station managers.
My name is Jesus Burgos. I reside in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but I do work for Waterloo, Wisconsin for WLOOCA TV, channel 991 and 992.
Could you tell us a little bit about your community media station?
Sure. When I started there, they had 2 channels running and both just running slides. They were looking for someone that could start some programming for them, also record their meetings, their board meetings for the city council and also the school board, and create some local programming. So I accepted the job, and that's where we're at right now. We do have both stations running. 991 is just running slideshows with information of the community and for the community. And 992 right now is running local programming and programming from all states that are interested in sending us their free programming, which is great for us, of course. And thank the Lord, it's working.
So what are the challenges that you're facing in Waterloo with your programming and with your station?
Well, I believe the main problem is, of course, economical. The monies we receive from the cable stations they're good funds, but really not enough. As a matter of fact, right now we're at the moment of buying new equipment because our analog equipment, our servers are outdated and will not be served anymore by Latronics, who comes and repairs them whenever there's problems. But they're outdated and they're not going to be repairing them anymore, so we need to buy new equipment, which we have to invest close to $30,000.
So how do you go about getting that $30,000 in addition to the funds that you get from the cable?
Basically, it's from the funds that we receive from the cable is all we get. We have to always cut down on employment so we can save up to buy this equipment. Unfortunately, myself as the director, I only go into part-time. work via internet to run the stations and going on Mondays only.
Okay.
I'm limited to certain hours because we do not have the money to run these stations.
So what do you think is the future of your station? What are you hoping that it becomes or continues to be?
Waterloo is a very unique city where they have close to 3,600 living there, but most of them are farmers. Okay, when I got there, I asked them what were they really looking for, and they said, oh, we would love to have local weather. We're 60 miles from Milwaukee, 32 miles from Madison. Do they televise anything about the weather in Waterloo? What's going to be happening? I don't think so.
Right.
They don't receive any kind of broadcast from Madison or Milwaukee where they talk about them, what's going on, and farmers really need that. It's a large community of farmers, not just in Waterloo, but the surrounding areas, Marshall, Lake Mills, all the cities that are composed of Jefferson County. Now, my interest is to inform the community, to give them that tool where they can use it for the schools, for sports, government. The main idea is to inform the community, since no other stations are doing it for us. We got to do it for them. And right now we do have Total Info running, which is satellite weather stations, where we get the precise weather 24/7 for the farmers,
Nice.
which is great.
Yes.
But we need more. We need more community involvement, more possibilities of employing students, as well as community members. And the money is not there. It's all about the money.
It usually is.
I'm Andy Radig from Wisconsin Rapids Community Media, and I'm the station manager.
So what is your role? What do you have to do?
Well, it's a variety of things. We provide government coverage, so all the local meetings and committees are televised, and then also providing a forum for the community to come in and a platform. So we have everything from high school sports, football games and things, to cooking shows and different types of programming. So it's a wide variety, and we also have quite a few churches that participate and air their services.
So you are in charge you're the station manager, you're in charge of programming and things like that. How do you go about setting your schedule and finding the different things that are going to be part of your weekly curriculum or your weekly agenda?
Sure. Well, I work closely with the mayor's office, and so as far as current issues and current projects that we're working on, we look to them to see what issues are facing the community and areas that we should focus on as far as getting information to the public. So that's probably our first focus that we look at, but then also we're looking at the community and what's happening in the community as far as events and organizations that are looking to get their word out about things that are happening, or just trying to get more exposure. So we partner with community organizations and also work with folks that would like to come in and explore community media a little bit further.
And you're here in Madison today for a conference and for a legislative day. So what are you hoping to talk to legislators about today?
Well, I think my first thought with that is to get some information in front of them about community media and some education. Allow them to have a little bit more background about community media and what we do and some exposure and information. But then also to build upon that and to expand and to give them some information about how community media can be improved and what the next steps are and why local television channels channels in various communities could be in a better place than what they currently are, and on more even footing with other broadcast stations and so forth. So there are a lot of different things that we'd like to expand with them.
So it sounds like you're facing challenges.
Mm-hmm.
How are you addressing the challenges that you're currently facing, and what are some of your challenges?
Well, the world of media is always changing, of course. So I think a major challenge is adapting to the platforms and outlets that are out there. So of course we have cable television as our foundation platform, but we've expanded, and the stations around the state as well, if you talk to them, they've all expanded out to digital platforms, making programming available on demand on things such as YouTube, or on demand with their websites, different types of things like that. So definitely I see that as being the primary challenge, is trying to adapt to what people are utilizing at the moment for their media consumption. And I think part of what we're trying to talk to legislators about is to tell them that we are adapting, but that we also need some changes with regards to cable television and how our channels are being handled on local cable. Just to almost continue that adapting to current technology and allowing for the channels to be current in the way that they're handled with high definition, and being able to come across to the subscribers in the same format as other channels are.
Do you think that keeping up with the technology is one of the most cost prohibitive parts of what you're doing right now?
It certainly is a challenge, that's for sure. But we budget for that, and we make arrangements so that we can set goals to be able to afford what we need to do. But it certainly is a challenge. It's not anything that's, we don't have a money tree, so it would be nice if we did. But at this point, we just try to be fiscally responsible with what income we have, and to try to target those dollars to fund basic things that we need. And as far as like adapting to changing technology, that's part of that. Trying to put the funds toward expenditures that will help us to adapt.
So what would you like anyone to know specifically about Wisconsin Rapids community media?
Well, I should say, first of all, as a disclaimer, I'm fairly new. I started there about 4 months ago, but it's a wonderful community, and what I'm seeing is that the people there are very invested in community media. They're very interested in it, and they have, they believe in it. And I see the people that come in the door and they want to produce their programs or be part of their local government or volunteer to help us out, and they're passionate about it. And so it's incumbent upon me that we provide that format and allow folks to come in and utilize what resources are there for them.
Stay tuned, there's more to come.
The League of Wisconsin Municipalities advocates for all of Wisconsin's 602 cities, large and small, rural and urban, speaking up for local democracy and common sense citizen-led government. Learn more at lwm-info.org.
You're listening to #LocalGovMatters. I'm Gwyn Gunther of the Wheeler Report. Today I'm talking with different members of community media about their fall workshop and legislative day. Let's close out the show with one of our partners, Oshkosh Media.
My name is Jake Tim, and I am the operations coordinator at Oshkosh Media, which is the communications division for the city of Oshkosh.
So what is your role there? What does a day in the life of Jake look like?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things. We spend a lot of time covering government meetings. We have have a government access channel and a public access channel in Oshkosh. So the government access channel is municipal programming that we produce. We do shows with the police department, the fire department, do a lot of things with our public works department about infrastructure, parks, but then we spend a lot of time covering government meetings. So we cover the Oshkosh Common Council, the Winnebago County Board, and the Oshkosh Area Board of Education, and then a smattering of boards and commissions. I think we're up to 10 or 11 now. We just added our Rental Housing Advisory Board has been the newest one that we've added. So as things come up and coverage warrants and the mayor decides and the city manager decides, we add more meetings to that role that we cover. On the public side, we train people from the community, members of the community who want to produce their own TV or radio shows. We also have an LPFM there that this fantastic show airs on. And we always tell people it doesn't matter if you have a college education and you know how to produce video or audio, or if you have just literally never picked up a camera, have no idea how to use editing software, any of that kind of stuff. We will train you from scratch or with any kind of skills you already have, and then we allow people to produce shows about anything they want in the community. It's a free speech forum, and it's really a nice resource for the community.
So in Oshkosh, you have both TV and radio, which not all of the communities have. Some have turned off their radios, some are now sending back their TV access. Mm-hmm. What's going on with community media, and why do you think Oshkosh is able to maintain both still?
Well, I think it's participation from the community. That's number one. I mean, you can put tools out to the community and say these are things that are available in your community, but people have to actually utilize them. So it's a partnership, it's a relationship. It's not just us, serving things up to people. They have to come in and participate as well. And it's that way on the government side too. If you don't show up to a city council meeting and you don't know what's going on in the city, you're not involved in the process. You're not going to be educated when you vote. You're not going to be educated on the issue. So we help create a more well-rounded community, I think. And as far as what's going on in other municipalities or other places, I mean, funding is, dollars drive everything. So funding can be a challenge for some centers who maybe, whether it was some nonprofits. We have some nonprofits in the state that are not affiliated with municipalities that are struggling. Some municipalities choose to go another way, whether it's a county or it's a city. If their council or their elected officials decide that they want to go another way, then that's certainly their choice to do so. But I mean, you can see strong community media centers like the one in Oshkosh, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin Rapids, all of the folks who are here today, any number of the folks that you talk to here today. I think that you'll see that their mayors, their city managers, their councils support them as very strong resources for the community.
Perfect. So tell me, as you're going into the Capitol today, what are you hoping to learn from the legislators, and what are you hoping to tell the legislators?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping to have a good conversation and maybe educate some folks who don't know about us. So the two that two of them that I'm meeting with personally today, Senator Dan Fine and the minority leader in the Assembly, Gordon Hintz, are local reps, and they do shows with us. They've been in the office. They know who we are. They know what we're about. I also have a couple of meetings with folks who are part of my home district, because I live outside of Oshkosh, and they may not be as aware of what's going on. So I'm hoping to educate them a little bit, and then specifically on potential legislation that we're going to be promoting that really levels the playing field and evens out how PEG channels are treated here in the state of Wisconsin. Right now, if you watch a PEG channel in your local community, unless you're on Solaris, or I think it's a provider up in Trempealeau County, you're not seeing us in HD regardless of what quality of programming we're producing. So all of the government meetings that we produce in Oshkosh are done in HD. You can find them in HD on the web. You can find them in HD on our Roku and Apple TV channel. You can find them in HD on demand. But if you flip on Spectrum Cable, all you see is an old SD, grainy, you've seen it before, the boxes on the side. It's not the same quality, and we don't think that's right. We think that people in the community who want to watch their government meetings should have that production value be the exact same as every other program they have on their channel listing. So there's that. We want to be listed on the electronic program guide. We think that's really important because folks are watching their TV on recording now. They're doing on-demand stuff. Very few people are sitting down, every night at 7 to watch their favorite program. A lot of people are watching stuff on their phones, signals. So we want people to have the ability to record local programs that air on their PEG channel as well. And there are some other issues that we have too that we're promoting that are more on the infrastructure side, transmission lines and transmission equipment, and who maintains that, and how we can work with video service providers and cable companies to meet in the middle maybe and say, if we have an issue, we want to be able to reach out to you directly. We want to be able to contact you so that we can get this resolved right away. We don't want to be treated specially. We don't want anything above what anybody else is getting, but what we do want is fair treatment. And I think that's what this legislation that we are going to be promoting is asking for.
So you're saying if I go on to my TV and I try to watch my local channel and it's all blurry, that's because of the cable provider, not because of the video that you are providing to the cable provider?
In most cases, yes. I won't speak for every station in the state. I don't know that every single station is HD capable. I can tell you in Oshkosh what happens is we take our video into our playback server in high definition. It goes out to our website, to YouTube, to our live stream on our website, and to our Roku and Apple TV channel in HD. But in order to get it back to Spectrum, it gets down converted to standard definition, goes into the equipment that they have in our rack, and goes back to them in standard def. So they're down converting a signal. It's not necessary for them to do that. And if we could work together to figure out how we could provide HD to the community, we could get another HD program on their their channel listing and provide that higher quality product to their customers, because it's a customer service issue too. We don't want their customers to see us in standard def. Yeah, I think it delegitimizes when you're flipping through your channels and you see HD on every single other channel, and you get to a channel that's in standard def. Chances are you're not going to take it as seriously as you would, because you're like, why does this look so bad? Why is this squished, or why is this grainy? This doesn't seem right. So I think it's twofold. It provides, it legitimizes the programming that we do and shows people that we are producing professional productions. But at the same time, it provides a better customer service experience for the customers, for Charter and for the cable providers that aren't currently showing us in HD.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's the end of today's podcast. Thank you to the individuals who took the time to stop and talk with me and to advocate for their community media. Thanks to our partners in community media, Wapaka Radio 96.3 FM, Sun Prairie Radio 103.5 FM, Rice Lake Radio 105.5 FM, Oshkosh Radio 101.9 FM. Thank you to the League of Wisconsin Municipalities and the Wisconsin Counties Association for working with me on this podcast. And thanks to Jackie Johnson for doing our sound editing.